Video games come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Some are long, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Some are short, like Portal. Some offer sprawling open worlds, like Red Dead Redemption.
Williamson is your business, but I don't know. You've been good to us, and I don't think you're a bad man.
Others focus on quick, bite-sized moments, like WarioWare.
Return curtsies.
Some games are designed to be played endlessly. Fortnite, for example. Others take you on a single, unforgettable ride. A game like Silent Hill 2 doesn't really need to be replayed to leave an impression.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
The games I tend to gravitate toward have clearly defined endings. I really enjoy the feeling of reaching the conclusion after hours of play, seeing the credits roll, and knowing that the experience is complete.
Endings matter because they offer something that starting a game doesn't. Closure. I remember specific endings, not just what happened, but how we felt sitting there. You put the controller down, the screen goes black, the credits start rolling. It's the only moment where the game stops asking you to do something. You just sit with it. Sometimes that feeling is good, sometimes it isn't, but it always sticks. A lot of games have incredible openings, The Last of Us, God of War, but when I don't finish a game, things tend to blur. I remember the beginning, but not the journey that got me to what I hoped would be an ending worth remembering. A few years ago, I started keeping track of the games I finish each year, not because I'm chasing a number, but because I'd like to have something to look back on, a way to reflect on what actually shaped my year in gaming. The way I used to play games was very different. I chased new releases, I jumped between multiple games at once, I felt this quiet pressure to keep up. Eventually, it started to feel like a chore. Instead of enjoying my hobby, it became a checklist. If I bought something new, I felt like I had to play it, and if I played it, I felt like I had to finish it. The opposite ended up happening. I was finishing fewer games than ever. I wasn't unhappy, but nothing was really landing. Experiences blended together, stories faded faster than they should have. I think a lot of people who love games quietly struggle with this. At the start of this year, I noticed something interesting. Year over year, the number of games I finish has gone up. In 2022, I finished just 8 games. That jumped to 14, then 16, and most recently, 19 games in 2025.
That surprised me because in my personal life, I feel like I have less free time than ever.
I made this video because I think a lot of people who love games eventually have to figure out how to enjoy them as their lives get fuller. I work full time, I'm about to get married, I own a house, I take care of 2 cats, I go to the gym, I try to stay connected with friends and family both near and far. It's a lot, but while my time is more limited, it isn't gone. I still make room for hobbies, and gaming is the one I care most about. I buy games, I talk about games, and most importantly, I still play them.
At my age, with the responsibilities I have now, the biggest change for me has just been figuring out which games work for me and which games don't.
Length has become a much bigger factor in what I choose to play. There's a growing sentiment online that 15 to 30 hours is the sweet spot for a game. When I actually looked at my own numbers, the 19 games I finished in 2025 averaged about 16 and a half hours. So yeah, that tracks. That doesn't mean longer games aren't worth your time. Some of my favorite games of all time are Personas 3, 4, and 5, games that could easily run anywhere from 55 to over 100 hours. The difference now is that pressing start doesn't feel casual anymore. It feels intentional. Starting a game means asking myself whether this is something I want to live with for the next few weeks or sometimes even months. That selectivity is a big reason why I finish more games. When I commit to something, I actually want to see it through. I can only do this now because I've tried so many different genres over the years. There's a real trial by fire element to gaming. You don't know what you like until you try it. And by the time you realize something isn't for you, you may have already spent $60, $70, or even $80. When a game doesn't click, I don't force myself to keep playing. There are plenty of reasons why a game might not land. Sometimes it's a genre thing. Last year there was a ton of hype around Monster Hunter Wilds. I bought in, and after some time I realized that this just wasn't a just-in game. I can absolutely recognize its quality, but it just wasn't for me. Other times, I actually like the game. It just gets crowded out. I put about 5 immaculate hours into Ghost of Yotei so far, but then Mario Galaxy 2 hit Switch, my friends wanted to try Battlefield 6, and Hyrule Warriors came out. You know how it goes. Sometimes that's a choice, other times life simply doesn't allow the time a game deserves. It's important to say this clearly. Quitting a game isn't failure.
If anything, it's refinement. It's learning what kind of games actually resonate with you. There's a difference between forcing your way through a game and giving it a fair shot.
That said, I usually start games with the intention to finish them, and I give them more than one chance. Even the best relationships aren't perfect all the time. The same is true even of the best games. Could I finish more games if I focus solely on shorter experiences? Of course. If I committed to something like Octopath Traveler 0, which could stretch easily past 100 hours, I'd probably finish fewer games overall. Does that number actually matter? Not really. Look, I'm a gamer, and gamers like to buy games. I have a backlog, a big one I know I'll never fully get through. I buy games I don't immediately play, and sometimes I don't play them at all. I used to see that as a problem. I don't anymore. The idea of a backlog isn't one I love anyway. To me, it implies work. A to-do list, something that turns a hobby into homework. Games aren't that. They're options. They're accesses to experiences. Librarians don't look at bookshelves and think, I have to read all this. That's just as unrealistic as beating every game you own. A backlog isn't a burden. It's a library. You get to choose which adventure you go on next. You don't have to go on all of them. I don't consider myself a collector in the traditional sense. I don't buy games just to own them, but every game I buy is something I have interest in, or nostalgia for, or genuine curiosity about. They're all games I could see myself playing. I'm intentional about what I play, but I'm still human. I get excited when new games come out, when old games return, or when there's an unbeatable deal on something I've been eyeing for years. There's a part of me that simply likes owning games. I like knowing they're there, knowing I could play them someday, knowing that if I'm craving a specific experience, I already have access to it. If you're a gamer, you probably know exactly what I mean. Buying a game isn't the same thing as choosing to play it.
Some games are for playing, some games are just for having, and I think that's completely fine.
This way of thinking is why I roll credits more often. I'm genuinely content with the way I play games. I've taken the guilt out of not finishing or even not starting everything I buy. I'm just enjoying my hobby. The way I enjoy games might be different from the way you do, and that's the beauty of it. I finish more games now because I'm selective about what I play, not because I buy fewer games. Gaming feels more focused, stories stick with me longer, and when I finally reach the end of a game, that satisfaction feels earned.
I don't finish more games now because I play them the right way. I finish more games now because I stopped playing them the way I used to. This is the way I play games now. Not because it's better, but because it feels right. And it works.
Thanks for watching.